start recording now because we have Joan Carbonet meet Jose Pons.
Perfect. So I know him through LinkedIn. I think we have been in touch.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
Joan, you're on mute.
Hello, good afternoon.
so
We just have a few more people joining. Kato is joining us. And then we have just a couple of more as well. How are you, Joan?
Great. How are you doing?
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good, thanks. And we have Kato also joining us. And we have a couple of more people, and then we can start. Yeah, we have snow in the mountains here, Jose. We had quite a lot of storms in the last couple of days. So snow in the mountains. And Sonia, welcome.
Hi, Sonia.
And Kato is joining us from the French Riviera. And I think we are missing just Till, perhaps, and Maria. And just wait one more minute. Okay. And then we can start. Okay. How are you, Sonia?
All good. Thank
Hello.
you.
Good. Very good. Here we go. And then we have Maria. Welcome, Maria. And Maria's here. And then I think we have Till hopefully joining us as well. We'll wait one more minute or 30 seconds, and then we can start because Jose is on a tighter schedule today. So we have to finish in maximum in a 1 hour as we have on our schedule. And so, yeah. All right. So what we'll do, I think we'll get started. For those of you who haven't read the description in detail about what we're talking about today, Jose is a guest speaker with us today, and we'd like to welcome him to GBO. He's the Director of Development in the DACH region of the IESE Business School, and has written an article using Mallorca actually as an example about the COVID crisis and how this is become such of course, an economic and social crisis, but how we need to diversify business as a possible solution of moving forward. So we're going to talk about that today, or Jose will speak about that. And then after he has finished speaking, we will open up to a question and answer period with anybody, or of course, any other comments that any of you have. So with that, Jose, I would like to turn it over to you, and you can of course share your screen with any items that you need to share now.
perfect. Thank you very much. I will do it in a minute. Before I can introduce myself. So my name is Jose Pons. I am now in Munich. I was born in Palma de Mallorca. I am living in Germany for 40 years, where I studied telecommunications. I worked first for a Swedish company called Ericsson, and then I was into education, foundation, supporting education. In 2015, I joined the IESE Business School, which is a Spanish business school founded 60 years ago, with its main seat in Barcelona, also in Madrid, also in Sao Paulo, also in New York, and 2015 we started our operations in Munich. And well, actually it was before 2005. We had a little office, and 2015 we opened our campus, where we are since then running executive education. So now I will share my screen. I think I will speak for 15 minutes max, and I think I am more interested to have an exchange of ideas with you than my wisdom is let's say limited. But let's see if this is enough for a good conversation. So now, if I could, I will, let's say, I now need to share the screen. So I will do that. Does it work? I guess so. Yes, it works. So now I go into the full screen modus. So let's see if that works. Sometimes it's a little bit slow. Wait, now. So now let me see. I am going to let's see. No, it's always tough to get familiar with this. Let's see, where is my one second. This is really complicated.
In your PowerPoint, are you using PowerPoint, Jose? Are you using PowerPoint?
Yes, I am.
On the top, on the top.
I am.
Yeah. You should have, if you make your screen large, you should have a little, I don't see it. If you push those three buttons at the top on the red line.
Okay, let's do the following. I will, let's do this. It's not very professional, but we do like this. Okay. I guess you see this?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so then let's move. So actually the title of the article I wrote in Diario de Mallorca has a nice story. There is a friend of mine who is living here in Munich. She has been living in Mallorca for 14 years. And she came back a little bit frustrated because she felt that she couldn't implement her ideas. Also because she had the feeling that the locals sometimes are hindering good ideas, you know. I don't know if, okay, this was her perception. And when we, then I was invited to Clubhouse a couple of times, and they say, okay, I do not want to join a new social media because it's going to waste my time. But then we came to the idea, okay, let's have a Clubhouse session about the future of Mallorca, because I was reading, as you were, the news, and I saw, okay, Barcelona has 60% drop of bookings, and I guess with the big hotels it's the same. Sol Meliá, Iberostar, Mallorca is known for having old family business which are pioneers in the touristic areas. And then we got a discussion there, and all of a sudden we were 50 people, and we had their journalist people from travel agencies, and I was the only person from Mallorca speaking with 50 Germans about the future of tourism. And there was also a lady, that impacted me, saying that they were collecting money for people from Mallorca who were standing in the queue to get food, you know. So this is a totally new situation for Mallorca, I would say, in the coming last century. And so what has happened here? I think now, after 1 year of our lockdown, we know a little bit better what this is or what this means. I mean, we have had a global health crisis, which has led to an economic crisis, and has also led to a social crisis. We are going to see a spread of poverty. We are going to the recovery is going to take longer than expected. And what we have discovered is that we have one weakness that we were never aware of, which is, a weakness in the supply chain, which is the tourist supply chain. Yeah, we could have never imagined. Yeah, the tourists, if I may speak like this, are for Mallorca like the fuel. You know, if you don't have tourists, you cannot move. You know, it's like you are running out of of energy to keep on the economic system of the island. And this was it's this a dependency which is obvious, but we could have never imagined, yeah, that we were going to run out of fuel, you know. So, and in German there is a say that which says "Not macht erfinderisch," yeah, which means the need, a situation of need, makes you, let's say, innovative. Yeah, you discover things when you are in need, you know. And actually, the biggest source of innovation is usually the need to solve a problem. And to give an example, you probably remember the times where you were carrying your luggage and there were no wheels below your luggage. At least I have done it. And it took many years until we got to the idea, let's put 2 wheels under the luggage. Yeah, it's much easier to carry. And it's not that long ago that we start seeing 4 wheels under the luggage, which is even more comfortable. You know, so in this discussion we were having about Mallorca, I was saying, okay, there is of course a dependency. There are no hotel bookings because there are no flights, and if there are no flights, there are no hotel bookings. So, I mean, always when I book a flight, yeah, I get the option to book a hotel and to book a rental car. But I don't know of any hotel that offers me a plane ticket to go there, you know. So, I mean, why wouldn't hotels charter a machine, yeah, and say, okay, we are picking you up in Düsseldorf, yeah, and we are going to distribute you among the Barcelona, Sol Meliá, whatever hotels in the island, or even we're going to charter a machine for the boutique hotels, you know, because, okay, with the boutique hotels, you don't have enough volume to charter a complete plane, but maybe, I mean, if 10, 15 hotels get themselves together, then, I mean, we need to find new ways, yeah, to solve our supply chain problem, yeah. And I assume you are familiar with this expression VUCA. I mean, VUCA stands for volatility, complexity, ambiguity, and then now I have forgotten the U. It happens always to me.
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty, yes, exactly. So uncertainty. So volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. You know. So and this is actually what we have right now. I mean, we have a situation where it's difficult to plan. Yeah. So on the other side, we have seen positive developments that are nice, you know, and show the bright side of humanity, which is solidarity. We have seen a lot of solidarity, people taking care of others, as a city. I mean, we have been taking care of our family, of our neighbors, of our friends. We have seen also collaboration. We have seen scientific collaboration to develop a vaccine. Yeah. We have seen creativity, creative solutions, yeah, which is a sort of, a source for innovation. And we also have been, let's say, obliged to reinvent ourselves, yeah, in some way. Yeah, we have to think about new business models, yeah. And as I was saying, if the tourists don't come to me, I will have to pick them up in some way. Yeah. So maybe this affects the way we sell. And also in my article, I was saying now we have a new, I mean, there are two social developments that have come and will not disappear. These are two social revolutions that have come to stay. One is digital communication, I mean, also digital teaching. We have the phenomenon of home everything, yeah, home office, home parenting, home teaching, homeschooling, yeah, home office, yeah. So, and maybe we need to, I mean, now that we have a work holiday, yeah. I mean, if we manage to attract all those people who want to do home office in Mallorca, yeah, maybe this could be a new offering, a new kind of tourism that we need to develop, yeah. And so we need to think in new ways, yeah. So let's say my background comes from a business school, and what we do there is executive education. I mean, in order to be creative, you have to be together with creative minds, and this is a business school where creative minds come together. And well, we have a number of programs there which are related to being creative. One is called Business Model Innovation. Another one is called the Business Acceleration Program. There is another program called Artificial Intelligence for Executives. Another one is called Digital Transformation, How to Innovate and Lead Your Business. Another program is Getting Things Done. So it's a matter of leadership as well. It's our challenge is not only a technological challenge, but also a matter of leadership. So who is guiding in a crisis? You know, when all this crisis started, I saw a movie which was pretty helpful for me to understand the situation. It was a filmmaker who was saying, okay, in all movies there are bad heroes and good heroes. Yeah. Who are the bad heroes? The bad heroes are those who are screaming the whole time, are just complaining, are just saying what everybody sees, are useless. Yeah. The good heroes, what do? They take time to think, and they take action and provide leadership and say, okay, this is the way we go. Yeah. And actually try not only to save themselves, but try to save others. So it's I mean, maybe it's a good way to think is not only how I am going to save my business, but how do I save my business community. Yeah. And it's a matter of sharing ideas as well. So another program we have is design thinking. You know, it's a method to be creative from strategic transformation to business impact. And well, this, as I say, this is the place I am. You know, this is our business school in Munich, very nicely situated. Today we have a gray day. We have not this blue sky. And okay, these are the places where you come together to think. So, well, basically, this is my message. And now I am very happy to hear your remarks, your considerations. Now stop sharing. I will stop sharing, and then I can focus on you. So thanks for attending and listening.
Well, I think, Jose, you point out something important about how, of course, we have to change the way we do business. And in the case, for example, of tourism, if there are no flights, then maybe we have to charter something. And interestingly enough, here on the island and in general, I have seen more and more ads, even on Facebook. The other day, I saw an ad for private jet sharing. And this is something that I don't know if the rest of you have seen, but also now we're going to have seaplanes in Mallorca, which I saw, which we've never had before. So these are some new ways I think that companies are going to make it a little bit more affordable to take a private jet. It's still expensive for the average person, but as you mentioned, maybe for the boutique hotel industry or for the a little bit, maybe even not the luxury category, but still the semi-luxury category, it's going to be a little bit more affordable for the average traveler to get on a smaller plane with maybe 20 or 25 other people and share the cost. So I have seen some things like this, and I've seen airlines, smaller airlines, starting to think outside the box about how they can maybe start changing the industry in a small way by making this type of offer for tourists.
Right. Now, I mean, the borders of have opened a little bit, and there is a big annoyance in Germany right now because Mallorca is open for Germans again, you know, but still Germany is in lockdown. So this is, I mean, this is you know, surprising. There is a say that, I mean, Mallorca has an abbreviation in German which is called Malle. And we say now here, Malle für alle, which means Malle, Mallorca for everybody. Yeah. So, and so the, you know, we are having pretty weird behaviors which are inconsequent, you know, and this makes difficult to predict things and make calculations and make assumptions, also business assumptions. Yeah. So anybody else who wants to share your view, the view?
Jose, I think that the problem that we have here is the typical problem that any company might have, that when they are launching something and growing as a regular company, it's very difficult to sell any kind of innovation or reinvention message. Everybody is focused on building the business and making money and making it strong against competition and those kind of things. So trying to diversify the product that they are doing is something that is not a priority. But now we have discovered that this should be done. So probably now people will be more aware that they need to do that. Mm-hmm. So this is the first concept. I think that the impact that COVID has had on tourism will affect a lot the mentality during the lockdown. People at the beginning, we can wait for some months and see what happens. But when that become longer and longer, people started reinventing and considering new opportunities because they weren't clear, and they are not clear even today about what will happen in the future. But probably when this recovers, people will go again to running the business and probably forget about the others. So maybe the question here is, who should be the good hero in this situation? So apart from writing an article on Diario de Mallorca, or what can we do? Because main efforts in the island, for example, have been invested into tourism. Hotel companies are the critical or the key resource that we have here at this moment, and the money is invested there, and people is considering when this will recover to continue as we were doing before. But probably now we should send this message, as you were doing on this article, and trying to create more opportunities apart from tourism in other, like you were talking about, digitalizing offer or offering home opportunities. Here we have a good climate or a good quality of life or a good even connections with Europe. So who do you think, or which are the opportunities we could do to improve that and at least avoid that if in the future this happen again, we are just depending on one single product?
Well, I think this will disappear someday. So this is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, I anticipate that we will have the next lockdown. I mean, that from November, and I have written it in the article as well, from November to March next year, we will be locked down again because the vaccines are not coming that quickly. So the longer this pain takes, the more we will be obliged to do something about it, because otherwise the hit is going to be bigger. So I think we need and I fully agree with you. It's very nice to write an article from the outside and say, you should. Okay, but if I would be sitting there and I would have a hotel, what would I do? I would create a round table. I would create an alliance. I would put some creative heads together. Like in Germany, they have created a hackathon. Yeah, hackathon is a system. System to deliver ideas and to be creative. So I think some creative heads must come together. I have also seen the idea of, let's say, asking for a rescue package from the European Union. Like, okay, let's put the hotels together with the communities, and let's ask for a big contribution, like a kind of Marshall Plan for the island. Yeah, okay, this is also a piece of the cake. Yeah, but I think creative people must come together. I would call for a round table or an alliance. I don't know. Difficult, not easy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm curious as to maybe some of your opinions. I know in the past, Majorca actually had more industry on the island, which things like leather manufacturing. Of course, we still have agriculture, but with the lack of all the hospitality venues being open right now, still the farmers now are also showing signs of distress because they are not having their products purchased by the restaurants and the hotels in the same volume as normal. So we have here, of course, a situation where we have some agriculture. Maybe, of course, it's not as much as on the mainland, but there are some products which, of course, are special to the island, which could maybe be exported more. I'm just thinking out loud at the moment, but there are some other industries, like I meant about the manufacturing, which kind of died out over the years because tourism took over. And I think people ended up, that was the way to make the money. And there's maybe an idea I'm thinking of how could we rejuvenate some of these older types of companies, or modernize these companies, or bring other companies from the mainland here that could maybe use some of the old buildings that were here and modernize them and use them as a manufacturing plant again, or somehow get more involved with exporting some of the goods that we are producing here. It might not solve all of the puzzle, but it could be a piece of more sustainable business and income for the island as well. I'm just curious what you think about that.
Well, if I may, maybe there are other voices, but there are two aspects here which are important. One of them is the aspect of globalization. So what here decides is the price. So actually, I was speaking to a friend of mine who has a very good overview of what goes on agriculture on the island, and he was saying, okay, look, the how do you say almendra? How do you say that in Spanish? No, in English.
The almond.
Almonds, yeah. In Mallorca, we are consuming almonds from Australia. I mean, we shouldn't be thinking that we are consuming the local almonds. No, I mean, we maybe. I mean, we can put them in a bottle of glass and sell them for a premium price somewhere outside Mallorca. Yeah, but it doesn't. What decides here is price. So if the almond from Australia is cheaper than the one we produce in Mallorca, we will buy almonds from Australia. The same happens to the oranges. The best oranges in Spain are sent out of Spain, and we consume the second class oranges. And there are people in Mallorca from Switzerland, from Germany, that are producing wine, but they don't sell this wine to Mallorca. So they sell it outside for a premium price because they labeled it special, and they are not able of producing big volumes. This is so this transport is very cheap. So of course we are consuming milk from the mainland, and we are consuming many products from the mainland because it is much cheaper than the products we produce themselves. But now we have another factor which can be seen as the next crisis, which is the climate crisis. And there is a lot of stress now on these ESG investments. And I know the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Gutierrez, when he travels, he only drinks local wine, because he says, I cannot drink Bordeaux wine in New York because the CO2 level of this wine is very high. You know, it has been transported. So if because of climate change we want to move to local products, we need to rethink our economics, because otherwise it is not payable. On the other side, people may be prepared to pay a higher price if they live, for instance, in a totally sustainable hotel. You know, if you have a hotel that has, you know, photovoltaic energy, and you say we are the 100% hotel, and you can see how the milk is taken out of the cow, yeah. Then maybe people say, oh, I want to see that, you know, and they are prepared to pay a high price for a sustainable product. So yeah, this is also a new developments or trends that are coming in, and we, as an island, we need also a response to the climate challenge. I don't know how that is addressed. Yeah. So who would like to comment on that?
Well, I think you also said something interesting that caught my attention in the beginning about changing the mindset of people here. And I think that has a lot to do with everything, actually, because not just here in Majorca, but I'm sure in other places as well. I live in Soller, where we have very many fields and farms of citrus. We have lemon and orange fields everywhere. And when I go for my walks, I see tons of oranges laying on the ground now, because the farmers are not able to sell them, as I mentioned, to the restaurants and the hotels. But for example, I don't understand why some of them don't open up their farms to the people who live in the city, who don't have access to farms, and say, okay, for 1 kilo or €1 per kilo or €2 per kilo, come and collect your own oranges and bring your children and have a nice day at our finca. And at the very least, they will get something, and the people that live here will also get something, an experience to take with them. So I'm just thinking out loud, like there are things that we can do locally that don't involve tourism, and that might be able to, even on a smaller scale, at the very least, generate some additional income for their business that outside of what they would normally get. So if I'm not being able to sell to a restaurant or a hotel, then maybe I can sell it directly to a local consumer who is willing to come and pick fresh oranges directly from the trees and give their kids an experience for the day. So I'm just thinking like maybe some things like this, but how do you change the mindset of people who have been doing a business in a certain way for many years? And I don't know if the crisis is big enough in every case for people to change their mind. You know, for some businesses, if they're able to survive this year, then maybe they're just going to wait.
Yeah. No, that will happen. And actually, for instance, my brother is in Palma and he's into construction, and he says, "Where is the crisis? I don't see any crisis." So, point number one, because okay, I mean, I was, look, what is the product of Mallorca? We sell houses close to the coast, and this is what our product. This is also what we sell. Yeah, we sell good weather. We sell stable weather. We sell our closeness to Europe. You know, I mean, it's a 2-hour flight to Munich, to Berlin, to the main cities of Europe. So, I mean, another thing, and going back to what Joan was saying, okay, what can we do? How can we organize ourselves? Maybe we can learn from other countries that have a similar problem. The other day, I was speaking to an alumnus of IESE who is from Japan, and Japan has also many islands, and they have also the issue, okay, how do I attract tourists to Japan? So, I mean, maybe the touristic industry needs to get together as well and say, share experiences and say, okay, how are Greek people solving the problem? How are, you know, Italian people solving the problem? We need, I think, this collaboration. We need to be able to and be willing to learn from each other. So, not easy, but I mean, as your question is, okay, how do we drive people into innovation and into a new digital, into a new mindset? Well, I think, as I was saying, Not macht erfinderisch. So if it is not painful enough, you will not move. That's easy. It apparently it needs to get even more painful. Otherwise, you will not move. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, this is a difficult one. It's a very, very difficult one because one thing is Mallorca as an island. Another thing are the particular industries and businesses, everything from farmers to builders to restaurants to bars, hotels, what have you. And then when the politician creates lockdown, I mean, the thing is that they can't fill up the beds in a hotel because that is gathering too many people. And also the mass movement of people, we saw what happened after last summer. You know, the virus spiked again. So it's a very, very difficult one. I think it's a bit of a higher level thinking on behalf of Mallorca that needs to happen the same way as it needs to happen in other places. I mean, I live in Cannes. Cannes is, I don't know if you're aware, but it's quite touristic, yeah? And also has a lot of events. I mean, I was down in, you know, the main shopping street, Rue d'Antibes, here the other day. It's just dead. And you see more and more shops are closed. There are papers on the windows, no restaurants open, no bars open, the main hotels are closed, etc. So it's a very, very tough one. But here is something that I think is that we're talking about the next crisis. You know, personally, I think the next crisis is going to be economical, way beyond what we see now. I mean, yeah, when George W. Bush was president in the US, he increased US debt by some $5 trillion, right? Then Obama, when he was president, he doubled that in the 8 years he was president. Then Trump came, he doubled that in a 4 year when he was president. And now Biden has, you know, well, we know 25% increase in the debt. The situation was, and this is not unique to US, but US is sort of the pinnacle of it. And the thing is that when the last package from US was issued, no one wanted to buy their bonds, right? No one wanted to buy US's debt. So what they had to do, they increased the interest rate, yeah? So they sort of artificially increased the interest rate to make it attractive to buy the American bonds to fund the package. I mean, this is a dangerous route to go down. We know what happened in Germany in the 30s, yeah? This has no good ending. And this Europe is on the track to go exactly the same way, yeah? Even to the extent that they have registered Euro crypto, yeah? And harvesting gold to back up cryptocurrency. What is then going to happen with our economy? And it's not only Mallorca, it's the whole of Spain, it's the whole of Italy, it's the whole of France, it's the whole of Germany, yeah? The largest economies in Europe. So I think, yes, creative, you can be creative on behalf of companies and so on. By all means, you need to be that, right? But we also need to think about things in a bigger picture and then say, okay, how do we handle that? Yeah. Bill Gates, he talked about the pandemic in 2015. No one took him seriously.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
And then it kicked in. And then we all have suffered one way or another, whether we have to stay home for 3 months or what have you. We suffered one way or another, all of us. Yeah. So this is a very, very difficult thing. But one thing we learned, at least what I learned, is a couple of things. But what I would emphasize is that number one is that every single organization, every single one, right? They found out that their technology part moved much quicker, much swifter than their human part, right? Everybody picked up Zoom in a heartbeat, but they applied old methodologies, old way of doing team work, etc. Yeah, and it didn't work over Zoom. Yeah, so many has run into a brick wall because they don't know how to effectively benefit from the technology that made it feasible to switch like this. Yeah. Secondly, is that everybody talk about psychology and the psychological impact and the psychological also latency. It's always behind. I think psychology, yes, by all means, but I think it's all down to neurology. Most things, whether it's government or company, are primarily run by men that are way over 25. Yeah. One thing happened with humans, whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter, right? One thing that happens is a change in your brain, and it's neurological. And neurology isn't only about the brain. It has to do with your spine, your organs, and chemicals that are produced. Yeah. whether it is depressive chemicals or encouraging chemicals, that dopamine or melatonin for sleep or all that kind of stuff. And humans above the age of 25, they have to consciously understand how they can activate the plasticity in the brain for the right chemicals to kick in for the right conversation or for the right occasions, etc. Yeah, to get, you mentioned something like business model, yeah, in there. When you go out there, whether you called Alexander Osterwalder or whatever you called, right? And you go out and you preach that to people who've been in business for some years, it doesn't get applied properly. They go about filling the boxes in a canvas, right? They don't apply design thinking to it. They don't apply the workshop in a proper way to actually look at this business model, right? And that happens everywhere, right? And that, I think, is a part of the problem of getting creativity, innovation, new thinking, different angles, getting people to collaborate differently rather than exchanging opinions and criticize each other's opinions, etc. Right? All of those things needs to change, also for Mallorca, yeah, or anywhere else. So I think we need to. It's a challenge in that. Yes, you have the bigger things that is kicking in, then you have the bigger picture, and then you have the smaller picture for the individual businesses. It's a tough one, right?
I fully agree.
And I know that this is a bit like we're drowning and I'm describing the water. Yeah, so it's a bit like that. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you thought about think tank? It's a word that's widely used now. But have you ever thought about, since you have Mallorca on your mind, yeah? Have you thought about creating a think tank, yeah, for like Victoria said, with local produce? How can we actually get some money go around with local produce, with local people and those who owns properties around there? Because filling up hotels will be difficult for the very reason that it will get a lot of people in a contained environment. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think there is another thing, which is the mentality problem. And I think many people in the island, as they have had no problem in getting the fuel, as I was saying, the tourists, if I may speak like this, they have an underdeveloped entrepreneurial mind. You know, I mean, they say, okay, they are maybe not used to think like this because it has not been needed. So I mean, and the weather is good, and you know, and we have become maybe lazy in a way. I mean, it's my own people, I know. But I think this means a mentality change, and like the problem not invented here. Yeah, we have never done this here. Okay, but maybe you need to start doing it. I don't know. I mean, but there is so much inertia. And I think this hasn't taken long enough for some people to really feel the pain, despite of that some people are queuing up to get the food. So
it's called island sickness, isn't it?
Could be, yeah. I don't know if Joan agrees with me, but
why not organize? Why not? I'm just throwing out an idea, right?
No.
Why not organize and invite everyone from Mallorca, yeah, and then invite them into the opportunity of thinking differently, inviting new thoughts. And you don't tell them that you need to think differently, right? But you take them through, whether it's neurological, that's my favorite at the moment, but you know, and explain how the brain works. I can explain, I just give you one thing. I do a bit of online trading, right? Day trading, to reskill myself. I started this primarily to understand my own emotions. I didn't think I was emotional, but I tell you, my God, I'm emotional. Yeah. It's because when you do this and you see the chart and where to enter and where to stop and all that kind of stuff, you fight the market. You want the market to go somewhere rather than you follow the market and so on, right? So it's timing. So then I got into this neurology, right? And what actually produce what chemical, yeah? So to prepare myself every day when I do this, I use, and this is not meditation, but if you breathe like, yeah, because of the blood flow in your heart, you calm yourself down, yeah? If you inhale twice, like, and then calmly out through your mouth, you should try it, you slow yourself down, right? And when you do like this and so on, you create a balance because of things in the inner ear, right? And some other stuff, right? It had an immediate impact. And I tell you, it's not, and I'm not lying. And then you have how to better your sleep, how to learn when you think. Like I play golf and I all play a lot of things wrong, right? Stay with that mistake, repeat it, and it corrects yourself in the brain while you sleep, right? That is what neurology is all about. I'm just up there now, right? But you go in a little bit deeper on it. And if you start by people explaining some of these things and how they can try to and they could pick something in which they can be better, try to change their thinking. Yeah, it's like I've been working for years around digital transformation. I've written a book about it. I created a framework about it, but I'm changing all the time around it, all the time, right? To do that. And I apply these kind of thinking and stuff. So if you do that and share that on a information, educational, coaching, encouragement type of basis to the local people, you know, if you have 25 people there and 5 pick up on them, you achieve quite a lot. You achieved quite a lot. Yeah.
Well, I also think just on that point, Kato, I have seen, for example, a couple of small, we were talking about farms and agriculture, for example, and I have seen a couple of small farms, and what they are doing is they have local produce and they will come to your door. You can buy 1 box a week and they will bring you the locally fresh fruits and vegetables to your door. So this is something I think that is a fairly new concept here. And I think I agree that it's talking to people and changing their mindset, but maybe it's also talking to a few of the key people in each industry, or even just some willing people in each industry to maybe make a small change and be an example for others in their industries as to how things can be done differently. Because a lot of people, I think, are also afraid to be the first person to try something new, right? I think a lot of people are, I mean, we are forced to think differently now because we are in this crisis. But as we talked, a lot of people are not making so many changes. A lot of people are just waiting for things to come back to the way they were. Whether this happens or not remains to be seen. So I also think it might be interesting to find some people in certain areas of business who are more open to changes and ask them to be the leader in the change, and then maybe share their new concept or their new way of doing business, or an additional way of gaining local revenue, for example, with their peers, because then people can also see if this new model is working or not. Because I think this is also a source of hesitancy for a lot of people, is to maybe, like I said, just try something new. And if people are not sure how to do that, so I think part of it is knowledge and education of maybe, yes, giving people an idea, but also showing them how it can be done, and really taking them through the process of all the different steps, because maybe not everybody has the capacity or the skills or the knowledge to make those decisions and to make those plans on their own, and they need guidance, or a model to copy. I don't know if you agree or not, but just a thought.
I don't think anybody is in a position to disagree.
Yeah.
There's much disagree. I guess the plans needs to be tested and so on. But one thing I say is that if you go back to a business model, I don't know if you all are aware of the business model and the canvas and so on. There are three parts to that canvas, right? That is desirability, that has to do with the value proposition, how you engage, how you deliver, and who you target. And then you have feasibility, that is key activities and resources and partners you need to have to actually be able to deliver on the value proposition. And then you have viability, which is cost versus revenue and so on. And if you, coming back to your idea with farmers and so on, Victoria, is that what usually have been focused on is the feasibility, right? And that is, how do we grow the best oranges and bananas or the lettuce or what have you, right? So with fertilizing, or whether it's biological and so on, it's all about the feasibility, right? Mm-hmm. And the same goes for technology companies, whether it's software, hardware, what have you, right? They tend to focus on the feasibility and they forget about the desirability of the customer. So the functional function feature and all that kind of stuff. If you were to focus on the desirability, how can we make our, just to take an example of a farm, how can we make our farm desirable for a customer base, right? To follow up on your day, invite the family to pick themselves or to help grow and learn children how fertilize works and play on the farm and so on, right? And then once you have picked your stuff, then we deliver it to you, what have you, but make it desirable to people so that you get this kind of enthusiasm going, yeah? As opposed to just sit and write paper up and spreadsheet on a computer and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, make it attractable and make it fun. Make people wants to, yeah. You need to stir up some noise. Yeah. So I totally, yeah. But it needs to be initiated and needs to be coached and it needs to be brought up enthusiasm towards it. That's what strikes me. So I don't think we're too far apart, at least Victoria and I, but that's what strikes me. Yeah. But you have to work on your brain work. Yeah. Because doing it, that's the same as we've done before until now, that will never work. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And on that note, I know Jose has another meeting at 6:30, so we can carry on if the rest of you would like. But Jose, we thank you for bringing this topic to us and the discussion. And of course, you're welcome to come back anytime and have part two if you like. And we just want to say thank you on behalf of GBO for bringing this topic to us.
Thank you, and I hope I meet you someday in person, at least those in Mallorca, and who knows, maybe I have to come to Cannes someday, who knows, why not, when the shops are open again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know where Sonia is living. Sonia, where are you living?
In Mallorca as well.
As well, okay,
Yeah.
then, okay, perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry
Thanks so
for
much.
having to leave, okay?
Thanks, Jose.
Bye-bye,
Thanks,
bye-bye,
Jose.
bye-bye.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other comments or feedback about today's discussion?
Was very interesting.
Yeah. No, Sonia, please.
Yes, very interesting, but I still remain very confused. I mean, because his first beginning, he took the topic of the tourism, but I'm really confused about this at the moment, because soon as the people are moving and coming, there's a lot of polemic. But I see the polemic is also really from the local coming. So when I hear help the tourism on one side and all this movement and all this request, and then when I see the tourists coming and I hear polemic, then I'm thinking, so what is it that has to happen, or what is it that they want? It's not clear. I think they should, in order for a business to plan and ask, for example, here in the marina, know how to, we cannot just know, oh, are the tourists gonna come? Are they not gonna come? It's like, it's too much uncertain. It's okay, we did it already last summer, or waiting and seeing what was happening to us, what were the regulations that they were going to change. But it, I think they should already be done. Not that the tourists are here now and there is all the polemic coming from the locals saying we cannot meet us, but the tourists can meet in the hotel. It, for me, it's very confusing. And also I understand that when you take a plane, you are requested to have a test. So for me, the people that are on the plane are the safest. I mean, everyone is on a negative thing. And also when you go back, because I did it as well, go back. So I felt, to be honest, I felt in the plane in the most secure place. Okay, I still didn't, I did keep all my whatever the things you have to do, but I felt very safe. So I'm very confused about this as well. I don't know. Maybe I don't see it very well. Don't know about you.
Welcome to the club, Sonia.
Yes, I just woke up. Yeah, so there you go.
Thank you very much. I have to leave too. So
Okay.
it's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you everybody for joining today, and hope to see you again at one of our virtual meetings soon.
Okay.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.